O'Reilly.
Amendments, actually, in relation to that, and they were focused on the capacity of the Health Committee to have a role in assessing the members of the board. So, but that's aside. You gave them a ringing endorsement. All of the while, this project was escalating out of control. And I mean, you know, I won't use my words. I'll quote from a senior Fianna Fáiler. The Children's Hospital's scandalous overspend is an affront to every child waiting for an operation. And we now have a review that is an affront to accountability. So I'm not the only one that doesn't have a massive amount of faith of you or any of your reports or your many reviews. Minister, according to the minutes of the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board in March 18, one of the subcommittees of the board was very critical of BAM's refusal to engage with the GMP process. As the GMP process now that you're facing has been the next thing, the greatest thing since the slice pan. In September 2018, the board noted the performance of BAM during the Phase A construction works fell far short of what would be expected from a Tier 1 contractor. BAM had not demonstrated that they were adequately resourced to complete the Phase A works. In the event of and prior to a Phase B award, the contractor would need to address these issues. Minister, before signing off on Phase B, did you ask any questions on whether these issues and the poor performance, as outlined in the minutes, of the main contractor had been addressed? What steps did you take to ensure that that performance had been addressed? Did you ask any questions about the performance of the main contractor before you handed them another massive cheque?
Deputy Minister Harris.
2 points. Firstly, you continue to attack the credibility of people in this House who aren't here to defend themselves. That's not a new tactic in relation to you. A number of months ago, you were moving motions of no confidence in Tony O'Brien. Today, you're quoting him as a source of great authority on leaders' questions. So maybe you'll be quoting them in 6 months' time and taking their advice on board in that regard. Phase A of the project came in on budget. Phase A of the project, the completed phase, came in on budget. It's an important thing to make, you wouldn't think, from your assertion. I would be answering extraordinarily serious questions. In fact, I wouldn't even answer the questions if I had have actually awarded the contract and picked the company. That's the bad old days of Irish politics. A process is in place. The legal entity, buck stops with you is just a great bit of rhetoric, right? But I know where the buck stops with me in terms of political accountability for the decisions I made, and I stand by that, and I'll always stand by that, and we'll deliver this hospital. But where the buck stops in terms of placing contracts legally under statutory instrument is with the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board. That is the fact. They make decisions in relation to the awarding of contracts. Should I start doing that, you'd be asking me a hell of a lot more serious questions.
Now we'll move on. Unless you have us brief.
So do you accept that the performance of BAM during Phase A construction works fell far short of what would be expected from a Tier 1 contractor?
Minister, brief.
The assessment of the performance of contracts is a matter for the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board. Funnily enough, not you and me on the floor of the Dáil. That's not what we do. We don't discuss construction companies on the floor of the Dáil. We have very clear...
Minister Harris, without interruption.
Sorry.
Minister Harris. Sorry? Minister Harris is well capable. Minister Harris is well capable of answering his own questions, Minister.
And I enjoy answering questions, but it's nice to get a chance to answer the questions. I'm not going to come in here and comment on the performance of companies in this country. We have laws in relation to procurement, we have laws in relation to contract, and we have an entity called the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board, which places and monitors contracts.
We move on now.